All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this short interview. I thought it's a good opportunity to recap our journey and maybe capture some words of wisdom from you that can help future aspiring folks who want to join the mentorship but usually are on the edge and they want to think. Just a matter of coincidence that just before chatting with you, I just got off a call with somebody else who also landed the opportunity, and she joined the program on the 6th of June, and you joined the program on the 12th of June.
Yeah.
Just a big difference. I mean, she's in Canada, you are stateside, but nonetheless. So I'll try to make it quick, but I hope you're not driving. Are
No,
you?
I'm not driving. No.
All right. Cool. All right. So let's start from the beginning. For the sake of our audience, can you just start by a quick introduction of yourself and what you were into prior to the mentorship?
All right. Well, my name is Desiree Dobson, and prior to the mentorship, I was a medical coder. I had just gotten my CSM, and I wasn't getting any offers or any looks as far as like my resume was concerned. I wasn't hearing anything from recruiters or jobs. And it was because there was a knowledge gap. I didn't have all of the knowledge that I needed, nor the more so experience of how to speak to recruiters and how to speak to interviews and things like that. And so that's really what I was lacking in order to get a position or even be ready for the position, to even speak to the position. So that's where I was when I was looking for the mentorship.
Before joining the program, how long did you kind of, try on your own? And what was probably the most frustrating part of that journey that you tried to do on your own?
For before I tried for about a year. The most frustrating part was that I was in a mentorship personal accelerator program before, and I spent quite a bit of money, more money than I spent with you all. I'll say that.
Okay.
But I got more information from you all. But the frustrating part was why wasn't my resume and why wasn't the information that I was able to speak? Why wasn't I able to speak it and know it and have the knowledge that I needed to have for the position? I wasn't able to speak to the position to anyone really
Right.
before the mentorship. So that
Okay.
was the most frustrating part.
And without, thank you for not quoting prices because they keep on changing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the previous mentorship in comparison, was that also like 101 customized mentorship the way we run it, or was it like more like a group batch setting?
It was a group session type thing where she would speak to you amongst the group because she would say that everybody may have the same questions, they may not, things of that nature. But yeah, it wasn't, it was and it wasn't.
Well, thank you. You said you learned a lot from us, but what was the biggest differences that you noticed, right? How did we stand out better in that comparison?
Well, one thing that I learned on the first call with you all, and this was just the intro call. I wasn't even a program yet. But one thing that I didn't know that I wasn't told was that Scrum Master was basically all it was in technology. I was thinking, I was told that it wasn't. It's a lot of people out here, a lot of gurus out here on YouTube and all these other places that are not giving the correct information that people need
Mhm.
to get into this industry and to get into this field.
Yeah, true, true. That's very true. And this is usually I see that a lot when Shikha or my sales team is meeting many prospects. People like what we're talking about, but
Hmm.
they have had bad experiences, probably similar to you, or they have actually put money already somewhere and they have spent that money and invested it. And now we're asking them, hey, you know what? We can help you, but you got to pay us as well. And now
Hmm.
they're hesitant. And I'm guessing you probably also would have gone through that. So I'm just trying to understand what made you decide to, give this mentorship program a try. I mean, apart from obviously the fact that we don't do group, we are 101, but but as you yourself said, your previous investment was way higher than what you invested with us, and that did not get you success. So you kind of had bad experience in a way.
Hmm.
So how did you kind of, put yourself to align that, what, I'm going to put in this a little more money and join this program?
Well, in my mind, it was more so of I'm gonna continue to invest in myself, and continue to invest in my education. So if and she could she how she spoke, and how, I won't say convincing, but how she spoke and how highly she spoke of the program, and how she was just so matter of fact with, yes, you'll learn here, yes, you'll get it, and it shouldn't take you long, but if you stay with it, and how encouraging she was within giving the information. That's kind of what changed my mind, or turned me into, turned me on to you all.
If you had to kind of, obviously there are a bunch of probably good things, but if you had to just pick top one or two things that you think beyond the resume writing and just in the mentorship that you learned that really helped you stand out, what would those things be?
It would be the number one, the information given in the videos and everything, and the readouts. And then the other thing would be the spitfire questions, the way that the interview questions are structured, and
Mhm.
having to be on camera, and then having to come to you and say, okay, no, don't do that, or do this, and have more of your hands in the hands in the camera, things of that nature. But I guess the more so the one-on-one, but the spitfire questions that you don't see, you can't Google a lot of those questions to see this is what they may ask you or may not ask you. But the to be prepared for all of those questions, I think that was very important in the process.
Yeah. I guess the that's what happens when you do 300 questions. And then when you went in the interview, um, did you kind of, yourself, maybe after the interview, were you able to kind of think through that, what, this interview went better because of the program? I was able to, I don't know, the way you thought, maybe the confidence. Was there some visible feedback that you could collect from yourself, the way you gave the interview?
Yes, I felt a little bit more confident because I had been in front of a camera doing all of those questions. So that was one thing. Another thing was I used my hands. I smiled more. I was more engaged within the conversation. I made it more so of a conversation, like the structure of the questions. So I knew that piece.
So for the sake of the folks listening, right, and it might be a good knowledge for them as well. What was this entire interview process for you to land this opportunity? Right from the screening, what was the entire cycle like?
I did a pre-screen on a Tuesday, or yeah, I did a pre-screen on a Tuesday. And then they were saying, we're gonna send this to, well, I'll send my feedback from the pre-screen to our hiring managers. And so after that, there was a loop interview of two interviews in one day. So I met with two different people in two different departments. They
Mhm.
both were with the job role that I was interviewing for. But it was just two different people with two different departments, two different hiring managers. And then
Mhm.
after the hiring managers, then they will give the feedback on if you're hired or not. And that was it.
And all of this happened in a month of a week or something, right?
Yes. It happened in the span of probably, I want to say, like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, yeah. And just for the sake of clarification for the audiences, the loop interviews where you kind of meeting two people on the same day is not a usual occurrence. It just happens when probably the candidate is so good that they want to really quickly close the role. So they probably will end up having another round on the same day, so the other person can also get their buy-in and they can move forward with it. So that's usually when such a
Okay.
thing happens. So that's great for
Okay.
you. Do you, by any chance, Desiree, have a recollection of any specific question that you were asked in the interview, which which kind of just directly clicked? Would have been probably more challenging, but would have directly clicked because of probably that preparation that you have gone through, the knowledge checks and the questions, situational questions.
Um, Most of them were, tell me about a time when, or describe a time when. And so that kind of went to all of the questions, well, not all of them, but most of the questions that we have in the program.
Mhm.
because we went over to describe a time when you had to use risk or had to. I don't know, but I know risk was talked about quite a bit.
Risk is the favorite for
um,
everyone.
yeah, so she asked me that, and then she asked me about budgeting. Tell me,
Budgeting.
how do you use budgeting in your current role right now? And
Uh-huh.
so that
Great.
was,
Great to hear.
that was talked about.
All right, great. I see you backing up, probably about to leave. So, to wrap this up, what would you say to someone who's probably watching this video and still unsure if our mentorship is right for them or not?
I would just say invest in yourself. Number one, you've come this far. Well, I don't know how far, but you've come this far, and just don't stop. Just keep going, invest, and once you are in the mentorship program, like be disciplined with the work. The work it'll always pan out. It depends on what you put into it, though.
Yeah.
So it's all in what you put into it. But just do it. I mean, I would do it again if I had the chance or if I had the choice.
Yeah.
But the
No,
one
great.
and the one-on-one piece of it, you don't find that often in a
Mhm.
lot of programs. And so that's a special piece with this program for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Desiree. Really happy for you, and you continue to work through the program still. So I'll be seeing you
Mhm.
more very soon, hopefully.